Alright, that should be better. Thanks, Doyle. That was from a recording I was doing earlier that I had desktop set up and not the audio. So, looks like we're going to have a couple minutes of dead audio at the beginning of this, unfortunately. So, hopefully that is better. Okay. Glad that's settled. Do I think this is the best deck in the format? I don't know. I haven't played much Hammer Time, so I don't really have an opinion on Hammer Time. A lot of the other best, quote-unquote, best decks I simply can't borrow because they're using both Ragavan and Urza Saga and are just way too many tickets to borrow. So this is kind of the edge of the tier decks I can borrow other than having access to Hammer Time, which is a deck that I need to test at some point. And then beyond that, you know, we'll do what we can. Sideboard, just kind of a mixture of cards, one Shattering Spree, a couple of Abrades for any type of artifact-based decks, a couple copies of Blood Moon, because I think that card is fairly well positioned in the format against a lot of these various decks, although sometimes getting to 3 where it can be useful can be tricky against a bunch of other one-drop based decks. Kozilek's Return, Engineered Explosives, pretty decent against any type of spread of creature decks mostly. 2 copies of Soul Guide Lantern for any type of opposing Darcy decks, as well as any type of dredge nonsense or anything you might run across. The Reanimator decks are running around. A couple copies of Flusterstorm, a couple copies of Mystical Dispute, trying to respect all the various blue decks that are running around. Their mirror matches, the Rhino decks, and all that nonsense. So, the format's kind of wide open right now. So we'll kind of see what happens, get this league rolling. So, yeah, Blood Moon's an interesting card. Sometimes it's really well positioned, other times it feels kind of garbage. Spike got another trophy to keep this at least interesting. So how you doing tonight, O'Doyle? Hopefully everything's going well. Trying the restream, see how this goes. That's good. I'm glad you're doing well. Sure, high and good luck. This hand seems pretty good even against a Luris deck, so we're going to keep. Luris decks can be tricky because you never quite know which variant of them you're going to get nailed with here. So, I kept 7. Okay, so we're up against Hammer Time right off the bat, which is a little bit rough. Well, it's a semi-aggressive deck. I don't know where I classify this one as. Another Darcy. Not the worst draw, I suppose. There is a way we could actually die here on turn 2, which is kind of crazy. A little bit less likely, but still possible. If they go... No, actually, they don't have quite enough mana to kill me on this turn. But this is close to the setup that allows them to kill us here. Esper Sentinel, sure. I can draw a card. Snapcaster's a fine card, but I think we need to find more land drops. see what our opponent's drawing. They're drawing Lavinia. Okay, well, not playing your average. No Prismari commands or anything. Yeah, that's a thing. It's also a thing. Opponent with some terrible mana, though. Great card once again, but we're really looking for... Nope. Murktide Regent, you say? Problem is here is we're gonna get doinked for a lot no matter what we do. So opponent's gonna get a hammer, and also to, if they have a hammer in hand, they get to like double equip. So bolt alone's not enough. This is why this matchup can be so bloody tricky. Holding up Counterspell doesn't do a whole lot against an Urza's Saga that's about to go off. So if I play out a Murktide, then I guarantee have to block with it against an Inkmoth Nexus. This is why I was really hoping to draw a third land. Bolt plus bolt would only equal 12. This is one of those pass and kind of hope situations. Yeah, we can, but the thing is, if they have a second hammer, we're just dead, is what I'm trying to play around. That and these huge dumb idiots, they could just go get Shadow Spear, equip it to the big dumb idiot, and then... Okay, that seems like a poor decision, but whatever. Leave that on top. May as well play one to prevent. They should have equipped it to their big idiot, honestly. They have a hammer to boot. No combination of cards we could find here in the main deck. Unholy Heat doesn't do it. I mean, I guess we take a look and see what we could find, but there's like no combination of cards that allows us to survive this. You know, it's a card that's reasonable, I suppose. Okay, bolt in hand, scour the bottom, do that. The problem is Shatterstorm is just so slow. I mean, we're just dead here if they play any type of reasonable attack and block thing. But Lavinia is such a weird card in there. Alright. Definitely want the engineered explosives. Definitely want the abrades. Kozlik's returns are interesting. Shattering Spree is interesting. What cards are pretty bad? Ragavans are pretty garbage in this matchup, even on the play. Even some amount of counterspells, but counterspell isn't the best card in the matchup either. And probably some amount of Serum Visions, because we just don't have a ton of time to... Blood Moon has some value against what we saw, but they do have Springleaf Drums and nonsense, so there's like no guarantee that's even good. You bring in Kozlik's Return to pair with Engineered Explosives because of Sanctifier, but I think we'll go with this. Some argument for Blood Moon, but once again, you have to survive until turn 3 and then tap out for a card. Shatterstorm is fine, but I honestly think Shattering Spree is better from a mana efficiency standpoint, especially against this deck. The problem is they just have so many ways to play at instant speed. You're just sitting there going, well, if I live through X turn, and if I live through X turn, and then they have Urza Saga to like play a grindier game, so... This hand's fine. It's not super exciting. But I think between the baubles and everything else, we just kind of... keep it and see what happens. Hey, Coachman, I do apologize. I didn't see your message. Thanks, I appreciate that. But I can't take credit for most of it. Most of it was an expiring spikes list. Yeah, I think I'm fine drawing an abrade. So I'm just going to go ahead and Serum Visions. Yeah, I think I like both these cards. And then go like that. Okay, opponent with a very explosive start. Pass turn. Three mana, put Luris in the hand? Alright. Kozlik's Return's better. Really don't like to tap out for Murktide here, but alright, that works too. So the primary way they win this matchup, through all removal, besides just punking us out, is Sanctifier or Urza Saga tokens. And Kozlik's Return plays around Sanctifier before they can get an equipment on it. So there's a lot of Sanctifiers and do a lot of sanctifiers and a lot of core firewalkers running around, so you need to have something that can answer protection from red creatures. And most of our spot removal can handle like opposing Dragon Rage channelers and stuff, so I'm more worried about protection from red creatures than anything else with my sweeper. Plus it's instant speed, which is not irrelevant. If this was an island, we could keep this hand, but our one mountain coming back to Sand's pretty nice. Guess I'm putting back one of the Darcys. It has an Esper Sentinel on turn 1 and a Mem Knight. Okay. So am I holding up Bolt, or am I just playing Dragon Rage's Chandler here? I think we're on the draw, so I need to play more of a control role. Just hold up Bolt, see what they do here. Cranial plating. Mem Knight. No attacks. Why would you not attack there or whatever? This allows us to hold up Counterspell, Abrade, and Thought Scour, so Urza's Saga is just such an annoying card to play against for us. Sure. Opponent's not equipping. It's just an enchantment land, right? Yep. So sorcery will turn on. Yep. Gets to chip away at us again, which is annoying. Land? Iteration. It's a tough one. So we'll put it on top. Probably should have done this post-combat to be able to leave the 3/3 back. Yep. Could have Snapcaster to block something, but I think we'd just be delaying the inevitable here. Don't even think this matters, but whatever. Just dead, so moving on. Yeah, I really haven't found any of the decks that I've played lately to have a positive Hammer Time matchup. Like this deck, it feels like a stretch. Burn, it feels like a stretch. Tron and Titan Breach both. I think Titan Breach was the closest to feeling like a reasonable matchup, and even that one is a stretch. So I'd like to play first. This hand isn't super exciting, but hard to mulligan Ragavan, Thought Scour, Murktide on the play, even with 4 lands, so... Alright, hand just got more interesting. Opt. Okay. Express iteration. Iteration to hand. Play that for the turn. And we'll pass turn without casting Opt. Feels like we're... Yeah. What's up, Space Marine? Is our opponent going to dash Ragavan? Brawl. Okay, we're up against Storm. Would love to have drawn that bolt. Okay, well, looks like we die. Looking for an Unholy Heat or a Bolt, couldn't find it, so they're probably just going to go off this turn. Or not. See if they remand this. Alright, so what's our best? Yeah, I saw somebody was playing against it earlier. I don't remember who. Let's put Darcy to hand, Ragavan to bottom, exile that. Start by casting Unholy Heat on Baral. I played the wrong land, by the way. I will gladly trade Ragavan for a Goblin Electromancer here. Alright, opponent has a Sleight of Hand. Do you have a remand? Alright. Am I dead? Beats him. Something a blue-white theme here. Monkey's not even played in the best deck in the format, and it's not played in 2 of the best 3 decks in the format, so, you know. Good chance we're dead here. I mean, we have 4 lands and a Darcy. What am I supposed to do, right? Okay. Oh, I'm not saying it's not a powerful card, because it certainly is. The funny part is I'm not even sure Hammer's the best part of Hammer Time. Is it better than Deathrite Shaman? No. Close, but no. Alright, Flusterstorm seems okay. Mystical Dispute seems okay. Soul Guide Lantern seems okay. EE maybe? Probably pull Ragavans out on the draw. Certain Visions are probably a little slow. And then trim some number of Unholy Heats. They do different things. The thing that made Deathrite Shaman so darn annoying was the fact that it allowed black to play an accelerator without which I guess you could argue I don't think it's ever coming back in any format that it's currently banned in. Oh, this hand, man. Yeah, we'll keep it. Sure, why not? Opponent's Serum Visioning. Let's see what they do. If they go top, we might Thought Scour them. Sure. So we're going to bobble ourselves. See See if we see a land. Okay, we see a land. So, I'm going to put a stop during their upkeep. Bobble trigger first, draw the land. Do this. Rest every 20 minutes. Thanks, Dale. Thanks. Yeah, just hold up interaction here. We might just play Snapcaster Mage naked if they don't do anything. I have no desire to allow that to resolve. Dale, not Daryl. Oh, Daryl is a mutual friend of my brother's and myself. This Baral resolve. I guess I could have snapped Mystical Disputed there. Just gonna run this out on 0. I don't really care if it gives away information, but just having this in play is kind of whatever. Yeah, ICG's been open, man. This is the one downside of boarding out all of our I think we're likely to hit a land here. Yep. Put that in our hand, that bottom, that there. Play that out. So I really want to run this Murktide out, but I really don't want to run it face first into... I tell you what, Space Marine, if the channel ever gets big enough that we can host our own tournaments, or your channel gets big enough, or whatever, we can do a selected unbanned thing, see what happens. But until such time, unfortunately, we have to operate with what Wizards gives us to operate with, so... Sure. Get some pressure down. We can't sit here and let them craft a hand all year long. Just doesn't end well. It's a pretty good draw. think I'm exiling the Manamorphose. I'm not really going to fight over that. Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of... Most decks are playable in Modern right now. They're not necessarily good, but... I don't know if I would go so far as to say there should be no ban lists, but... So, 1, 2, 3... Murktide would be a 5/5 here? I think we just play a Darcy and pass. Not the best pressure, but at least it's pressure. Yeah, that's fine. I literally don't care if you're bolting my dudes. Bolt. It's only going to be a 5/5, but I think our opponent's going to be hard-pressed to deal with it. Do I fight over a remand here? I think I need the pressure too much, and I don't think this Flusterstorm's getting much better, so... Hopefully between the Archmage's Charm, the Soul Guide Lantern, and... Chief. Squaw Chief. And once again, that kind of goes back to our whole discussion, Space Marine, about he has no reason to accept your challenge because you're not... I'm not saying you're not a quality control player, but once again, results versus audience, you know, kind of one of those things. Yeah, I literally don't care about opt. Opponent has options. Streamer, Squad Chief. He actually has both. I don't think I fight over the ritual. Sure. Just going for a large grape shot. Sure. Okay, you got a lot of mana. Gotta just take the opportunity and counter this. Alright. Nice to get on the board. Yeah, I don't know his backstory, Space Marine, so... he's interesting. He's not my favorite content. Comet Storm. Ha ha. Yeah, I think on the play we keep his hand. Double Murktide's a little bit awkward. Opponent says they're on a brew. Okay. Has a Rogran Triome, so interesting. Well, let's hope we don't get gut shot. Bolt's interesting. We'll just take the opportunity to resolve Expressive Iteration. Drew a land. Take Unholy Heat. I mean, Island was not the land I was looking for, but I suppose it plays with Thought Scour. Prismatic Ending. I think they weren't the only ones that didn't like Uro, my man. Temple Garden. Okay, there is my 8/8. Can you kill it this turn? Though I suppose if you have a Teferi, it just gets bounced. Well, most people in the Magic community who have been in the Magic community for a while tend to have friends that are in high places. It happens. I don't think I care about running 6 here. It's gonna go face. You're a boisterous and interesting personality, Space Marine. Takes Nahiri the Harbinger. Alright, so Blood Moons can probably come in this matchup. Mystical Disputes seem fine. Flusterstorms seem fine. Take out Lightning Bolts. I mean, we're not quite sure what our opponent's doing. And then take out the Serum Visions, I guess. Probably want to leave Ragavan in. Boisterous, not boisterous. Oh. You must be bored tonight, bro. Speaking of which, Mr. Commander, you should probably check out... Have you checked out, This hand seems pretty decent, depending on if they have a turn 1 answer to Ragavan or not. Do I lead on Darcy or Ragavan? I suppose Ragavan gives us the best upside turn 1, so we'll play it, although chances are pretty high it'll die. Lots of things it can die to. It can die to Renin 6. It can die to... looks like... Okay, just has Unholy Heat. Sure. So they're not playing Chalice, it looks like. I think I'm just going to pass here. Hold up Counterspell. I could play Darcy and hold up Unholy Heat, but there's no guarantee our opponent's going to play something... He wants it all, and he wants it now. Tarmogoyf. So... I think we just counter this here. Not super exciting about countering spelling that, but... play that, and pass the turn. It might be, I mean, we don't know what our opponent's playing. Like, I'm literally not fighting over this Darcy. But yeah, I tend to agree Tarmogoyf's in a pretty bad place right now. Okay, I'm going to shock in a land and play something here. Nope. I would love to have drawn the Expressive Iteration. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, baby. Bye. Probably sending off warning bells in our opponent here, but at this point I don't particularly care. If they counter this, do I fight over it is the question mark. In some ways, this deck is almost like Grixis Death Shadow that had Anglers back in the day. You've got the fast early threats, and then you've got the Prismari command, sure. Opponent's definitely got Emrakul in their deck. Sure, whatever. So you're playing Chalice in your Unholy Heat deck. Okay. Got it. Chalice on 0. Literally don't care about that one. How many Murktides can you cast today? Answer, all of them. Like our opponent fetching to thin there, it just puts them dead on board. There's no one draw that they have that gets them out of this when we have counterspell in hand, so, you know, is what it is. Alright. Shall defeat this Nick Cheese. Gotta make sure it's in the last round, man. Nick Cheese, Rick D's. American Countdown. No, I'm watching. I'm just kind of shaking my head. I've learned that if certain people get into the chat, even if I'm trying to pay attention to chat, it just gets away and I just kind of... Yeah. I just can't follow half the random conversations that start happening. Pygonti. Name's familiar, but I never know what deck they're on, so Sands Keep. Well, no one says, okay, we're up against Belcher. Got it. No, this isn't Belcher. This is, This isn't Belcher. This is Cascade Glimpse. Alright, so I'm safe to tap out this turn, but this is the last turn I'll be able to tap out for a spell. So, hold that. Basically, Warp World. Yeah, pretty much. So, I take the opportunity to play that this turn. Hopefully they don't have Fire Ice, but I don't believe their deck. Well, no one said they had to scoop, you know? Certainly a card I'm glad they didn't hit. I think I'd rather guaranteed hit a land, and then I hit all lands. Okay. Mountain in hand, not to bottom, play that. Pass turn. It's just annoying enough that I have to do this. So it literally stops our entire bloody game plan. Is that all 4 Ragavans? Or no, never mind. I shuffled one of the Ragavans back in. Actually, I should probably have played a... Alright, saved by the counterspell. How about no? What does this deck even play now? Glimpse of Tomorrow. All right. So they have Leylines of the Void, Mystical Disputes. So probably want to bring in these Flusterstorms. They are a 4-color deck, but they do have a lot of red spells, so I don't know that we actually want Blood Moon here. It's a debatable one, I suppose. Definitely want these 4. Probably cut the Serum Visions and 2 Unholy Heats? No, I think we cut 2 bolts. Try it like this, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Lots of egos. In Magic, just lots of egos. Maybe I shouldn't have kept this hand. We are a little bit cold to turn 3 Cascade Spell here. See if they block or not. Opponent with no fear whatsoever. I think I trade Ragavan for the Shardless Agent just because I want to reduce the amount of permanents on their board. Yep. I'm gonna snap Thought Scour here. Ah, good old Violent Outburst. Yay. Yikes. Now we get to see the stupidity that this deck does. Oh. They choose not to cast that? Fury cast. I think we're dead. sure we're dead here, so moving on. Oh, jeez. Blood Moon's much more interesting to me on the play. I don't even know that Mystical Dispute's that good. Tis but a flesh wound. Alright, sounds fun. EE is like okay, but eh. Yeah, Teferi Time Raveler could be annoying. But not all versions are playing Teferi either. Looks like Sodek's version. It's 1/1, so frickin' annoying. We have to trade this, or we just let it go and hope we top deck an Unholy Heat? Let's go for now. Well, isn't that true with all of the 4-color variants of? Did they keep a 1-lander? They did. Now I'm much more willing to trade this Ragavan. You draw another land? You're drawing it to Teferi. Cascade plays quite a bit more interaction than you'd think. Alright, and our opponent scoops. Cascade usually plays 4 Force of Negation main, depending on the variant. The Teamer version plays 4 Force of Negation main. It plays 4 copies of Fury, 4 copies of Bone Crusher Giant, some number of Brazen Borrower, and then the sideboard usually has at least Mystical Dispute. It depends on what you say by interaction. We're up against a Lurrus deck. This hand is not the best, but we will keep it. Actually, it's pretty dang good, huh? Oh, we're up against Boggles. Oh, Hardened Scales. Don't know if that's a great matchup either, but it's better than Boggles. Most of the artifact decks have been pretty bad matchups for decks like this for whatever reason. Lurrus is not really a problem in this deck. It's just a bonus card they get to play. Sure. Ozolith. Okay, their hand's a lot of setup. Do they have any payoffs? really need a land here. And we don't find one, so... Alright, well, I think we're in a lot of trouble, but, you know, as those are the hands you keep. So, Walking Ballista, or... Yep, okay, so... Our Dragon Rage Chandler is dead. Long live the Darcy. Awkward. So I don't want to tap out here, but I think I want to draw the Murktide before I Unholy Heat this. I'm just going to bottom both of these because we're just Unholy Heating this thing now. I think we are anyway. Wait to see what they play, I suppose. Fine, taking a hit for 2, I suppose. Okay. That's going to be a hard combination of cards to beat. Yikes. Another Walking Ballista? Indeed. This was dumb. This was so dumb. Should have waited for the Ozolus trigger to resolve first before I did this. Why are they shooting? That doesn't make any sense. Whatever. Don't know if there's anything. find here? So I clicked the wrong card. We did actually have a chance here if I hadn't clicked the wrong card. Because what we could do is we could chump block with Murktide this turn. I could have stolen it with Archmage's Charm and then kind of gone to town from there. But since I screwed up, I think my best bet is to play that. Yeah, I screwed up, so... This is a 1-drop, correct? Yeah, I could have... We could have chump blocked through this turn and then stolen their huge creature with an Archmage's Charm. But, as is, we lose. And if they had Walking Ballista here... Yeah, I wasn't playing around the third copy of Walking Ballista, so... Once again, I screwed up the line. We had a chance. He seems good. Raid seems good. Shattering Spree seems fine. Coslic's Return, not so much. Blood Moon, not so much. Must be Flusterstorm, those not so much. Serum Visions are kind of garbage. Ragathans are kind of garbage in this matchup. You bring in one card. I guess we'll bring in a Serum Visions. Coslic's Return's just not good enough if they're executing their game plan as is. So... this hand's okay, not super exciting. Keep that one on top. Maybe. It's really bad against that. Oh well. Obviously, we're not playing Murktide Regents, since we already have two others anyway. Walking Ballista? Yep. Opponent should sack their... Yep. Opponent sees the line, unfortunately. It's not the worst card in the world. Presume they go get the Ozlith here. Could get another Graveyard Hate piece if they have one, I suppose. So they got another relic. Sure. Force their opponent to crack the relic again. Pass turn. Oh. Kind of hard to also beat we have a 6/6. Hopefully that's good enough to hold down the fort for now. Doesn't look like they have path. Or maybe they're waiting to untap. Don't think I can afford to attack this turn. Opponent with a bunch of stuff going on here. Urza Saga is unfortunate. Stop playing cards. I'll lure us to hand, sure. So Only way we can outsize this stupid big flyer for now. Maybe I wasn't supposed to delve all that away. Our opponent gets to play Lurrus and do things, so I think no matter what we do here, we're in a lot of trouble. So. There's Lurrus. Alright, and we're dead. Shadowstorm might be okay in some spots, but maybe if I wanted to beat these decks, I'd want to pack more Shattering Sprees. Kind of hard to say. Like I said, almost every good deck in the format has like some type of weakness. Like the deck we just played against, obviously, Hammer Time, both rough matchups for this. We end up 3-2. We lost to 2 artifact decks. Go figure. We lost to Hammer Time, we lost to Hardened Scales, and then we beat whatever the heck else we played against. So, you know, kind of hard to complain about the record. 3-2 is 3-2. See what the chest gets us, I guess. Worm coil or worm removal coil and play points. Sure. So. Hammer Time has some weaknesses. It loses to some fringe decks. It can lose to Belcher. I honestly haven't played enough to know what its weaknesses are, so I know Urza's Saga definitely gave it a huge boost. So, you know, I'd really have to play the deck to have some idea. But as for that, it's going to be Philippe. We ended up 3-2. I lost to 2 artifact-based decks and then beat the Glimpse Cascade deck. I honestly don't remember what the other 2 matchups were. So we ended up 3-2, losing to 2 artifact decks. It happens. Hardened Scales isn't a deck you see a ton of, whereas Hammer Time's rough for basically any deck I've played in this format. Hammer Time feels like a rough matchup. Maybe control decks have a decent matchup against it. I'm not really sure. Just feels like the deck's both really resilient and has a good grinding game, so, you know. But that said, I am going to call it an evening, so hope you all have been having a great night. This has been John for MTG Nexus.